share my screen with you guys and literally take you through everything that is Streak, that how to set it up, that kind of thing. How do I close this? Okay. So let's see. Okay, so this is what Streak looks like. Do you guys have, I muted you all, but do you guys have Gmail? Yes, no, yeah. If you have Gmail, you can get Streak. If you don't have Gmail for your business, I would definitely recommend it because you can actually see when people have read your emails. So for leads and check-ins with challengers and stuff, it makes it really easy because you know when they have and haven't read your emails. So if you want to use Streak, you're going to go to Google and just Google Streak for Gmail. And then click on Streak here. I already have it installed, but you just click and install it. It has to be on Chrome though. You can't do it on Internet Explorer or anything. It has to be a Google product because that's what it is. So you have to be on Chrome. And then what will happen is I'll go to my whatever this is called, my email, and up in the right-hand corner, you'll see this little Streak thing. That basically tells me that it's installed now on my email. So here's my inbox. And then down the left-hand side, it says pipeline. So this is what Streak is. So basically, it's a bunch of pipelines. So I have my April challenge group, some of my current challenge groups that are on right now, my challenger prospects, coach prospects, my coaches themselves, all my customers, free groups, invites, leads, my power hour I have a pipeline for. So all of these is how I stay organized. Before I started using this, I literally had piles and piles and piles of stupid paper and had no idea who I talked to, what people would fall through the cracks, because when you're inviting, 5 to 10 people a day, you end up being lost into who said what day, when, and what's going on in what person's life. So this has made it super easy. So I will show you guys one of my pipelines. This is the one that I use most frequently. So I'll show you guys this, and then I'll start from the beginning of how to create one. So in mine, I have, and this isn't all of my friends, as I talk to more people or I'll add friends, I haven't updated this to include all 1,700 people on my Facebook profile. Because that takes a really long time. So as I have time, I add chunks of people. But basically, I can, in my pipeline, so this would be your pipeline, and then these would be your stages all along the top. And I literally push people through the stages. So I have my friends, I have people that are on radar. So if you're which you should be in groups on your Facebook, if there are people in there that you're not really ready to invite or to add as a friend, I always write them down in my on radar from groups. So a lot of them I end up adding pretty quickly, but this way, if there's some people that I know would kind of be weary of me talking to them or adding them as a friend, I leave them there so I can interact more with them on their posts in the groups, so that when I do add them, they're not as weirded out. And then I have my dream list, my free group. So anybody that I had in a free group, that would be a potential challenger. My past interest, current customers, leads, interest, informing. So this is where I'm liking and commenting, or I'm having nonchalant kind of conversation with people. The people that I've invited, as you're asking more questions, sending them videos, talking about Shakeology, their options. So once you get to that point where you're okay, what kind of workouts are you into, and you go through all of that stuff, sending them their link, adding them to a group. And then I have a last chance. So as I'm approaching that deadline purchase date, I start to add people to there. So then I know to follow up with them and kind of give them like, okay, you have like however many days to order. And then people that I have to follow up with, people that I actually, this is just something that I had talked to a number of women about, so I know to reach out to them about that specific thing. This part I actually love, the has a coach. I put people in there that obviously have a coach, but sometimes I'll put people in there who are with other companies. So like It Works people or Thrive or even like Sensi reps or whoever else that works for like another network marketing company. I'll put them in there and I put what company they work for and that they have a coach, so that next time that I'm going through my friends list, if I go to create a new box, which I'll explain what a box is, but their name will pop up and tell me that they already have a coach. So I know not to waste my time going and like trying to create this relationship or finding out all about their life so that I can message them, because I know that they already have a coach. And then my not right nows. So these are people that literally are like, no, can't do it, and have given me like an actual no, which we get very rarely because a lot of times people just like ghost. So the way that I do this is I want to move people as quickly as I can through these stages. So if I'm talking to them and I've invited them, I want to start shoving them further and further and further through. And if I don't get answers and I don't get, I follow up with them and check in with them, and I want to get them as quickly as I can from the invited stage to into a group stage or into a follow-up or into a free group. You want to get them out of there and into something. So that's why, I've invited a lot of people lately, so this number is very big, but that's also why I have 62 follow-ups, because I push people incredibly quickly through that and then into other areas. So you'll see right underneath all of these stages that there's a bunch of columns. So there's like the stage, so this will tell you like when I click on created a box for me. So when you click on this person or whatever, so me at the moment, it'll tell you what stage that they're in. You can write little notes. I have goals, days in the stage. So I put myself in this 31 days ago. Reached out to, so you can put them in as like a date there. These columns you have to create yourself. So I'll show you guys how to do that, but this all has to be created. All of these have to be put in on each individual pipeline yourself. You have to do it manually, which is time consuming, but once you get it in there, you don't have to do it again. So that's something that's really handy. So instead of having to write like continual lists, you just have it all there for you. So I had mentioned that I would explain what a box is, and this is a box. So my name right here is a box. So if I click on up here, new box, I'll add Britta for now. So I can create a box for Britta, click on this little streak icon at the side. And the thing that I love about this is when I was trying to find organization, I actually said to my husband, I wish there was some way that I could create this form, like, when you go to a doctor's office and they have like all your information and they're taking notes on their little clipboard. I was like, I wish I had that. And this is that. It's just like on my computer. So when I'm talking to somebody, I can pull up their little form and I can take notes on like, I don't even know what today is, April 14th, and just put like whatever their goals are. So like, I don't know, get in shape after baby or something. And then I can add like if they're like whatever they're going through in their life. So maybe they're worried about money. Maybe they are on maternity leave. Maybe their husband just lost their job. Maybe their, I don't know, dog died, or they're going to a family funeral or something. And in that conversation, they're explaining all this to me. I can write down the date that I talked to them and what they talked to me about, so that I can remember the next time that I go to reach out to them, okay, well, this is what happened recently in their life. I can check in and ask how they are, what's going on, how they're feeling, whatever. And I can keep up to date, and I'm not scrambling through 40 pieces of paper trying to figure out what we last talked about. And then you can keep track of the day that you invited them, the days that you followed up with them, what program that they were interested in, where they found you. So was it Instagram, your like page, your profile page, your blog, YouTube, whatever form of social media that you use. You can make it so that there's a little area for their Facebook URL. So you can go to, like, when you're talking to them, you can go to their profile and actually physically copy their Facebook URL into their little, I don't know, file. And you can click on that to go into see what's going on in their life as you're about to follow up with them, potentially. Maybe programs that they're into. Have you talked to them about coaching, Shakeology, the membership? Have you invited them to coaching? And then you can keep track of like their address, phone number. And then when they email you, you can hook up their box specifically to their email. So if that was the case and Britta emailed me, let's say, all of the emails and any correspondence that we had would all appear down here. So literally anything that we ever talked about would appear in this little area here, which is really cool because if you are the kind of person that likes to pull things off of Facebook and into email, you can keep literally everything that has to do with that person in one place and not have to be scrambling from screen to screen, which is kind of nice. So, hang on a second. Oh, is this making sense so far? Am I going too quickly?
Yeah, I just had a question. I kind of, like, I heard you zip through it, but how do you link up when you have an email communication? Does it automatically just pull, like, does it recognize that person's email, or how did that connect?
Okay, I'll show you.
Sorry.
So I haven't done this for my aunt. So see next to her email, there's like that little streak box.
Gotcha. Okay.
I can click on there. Oh, I can click on her email, and then up here, the streak box thing will come up, and it'll actually give me suggestions based on her name.
Oh, love it. Okay, perfect. So then it just automatically tacks that onto the like little file.
Yeah.
One for her. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, and then that way, I'll do this right now because I haven't done it, but that way everything is literally linked to her particular box. So everything that we talk about will be right there. So I can see if I can go and show you guys exactly what I mean. Don't mind this, it's just me.
Hey.
So when I click on her box, it should come up, but it might not. Yeah, see, so right here, she, all her emails are right here.
Okay, perfect.
So now everything, I mean, she's one of my discount coaches, so it's not as important because, I mean, she's also a family member, but for somebody that you're talking to, that way you have everything that you need right there in front of you.
Awesome.
So I will show you guys how to create a pipeline and kind of like the steps to go through it. So obviously you're going to click on the like new button. When you first open Streak and like you're starting from scratch, it'll actually give you like a sales CRM. It doesn't really matter which one you pick out of here because you're going to customize it yourself and add in whatever you want. So I'm just going to click on the sales and CRM. So it just will look like this. It's going to have all of these things. You can change the names of all of these. I always delete assign to and deal size because you don't really need them. They don't pertain to anything. I leave stage so that I know where they are, and then I leave the notes. I'm not going to change any of these, but you can add in whatever suits you. So if, like, I have, you know, my friends, and then going through like inviting and more questions and whatever. And I'm recording this so you guys can go back to and where I was showing you my challenger prospects pipeline, you can take and change whatever you want from that particular set of stages. But I'll show you guys specifically how to do the columns because that I think is one of the most crucial parts, especially because when you're going through all of your pipelines as you create new ones, you want to make sure that all of the columns are exactly the same. So they all have the same columns written the same way, so that you can move people from one pipeline to another. So if you have a challenger prospect who signs up, you can move them from, say, your challenger prospect to like my bikini boot camp, and I won't lose any of that information. But if you don't have the right amount, like the same columns, you're going to lose some of that information. And it does give you that warning if you go to do that and you're missing a column in one of the two, it'll be like, hey, you're going to lose said information. But you want to make sure all of your columns are the same so that all of your forms match up. So at the top, you can add in your column, and you can make this like super easy. So have it so that it's free form, date, checkbox, tag, or drop down. One of the number one things I would say to have is your magic columns, because you can go down and days in stage. So you can actually add that, and it'll tell you how long, like I was saying, I had added myself like 31 days ago. You can make sure that you know how long that person has been there. So you can just quickly glance at it and be like, okay, I invited that person 5 days ago. I should probably follow up with them. Or they said that they were going to order, so they've had the link for 6 days and they haven't yet ordered. So I should probably like see what's going on. And that way you don't really have to think about it and scroll back in your Facebook messages. You can just know, I put this person in this stage at this day, and it'll tell you how long that they've been in each stage. And then for invited, so I'll click on here. So obviously for inviting, follow-up, and then your second follow-up, you're going to want that to be a date. So you can actually click and make it, so I'm just going to put invited, you can make it a date so that when, I'll add a box, make it Britta again. When you click here, it actually just will pull up a calendar, and you can click on the day, so today, that she was invited. Same with follow-up and your second follow-up. You want anything that pertains to a date to actually be a physical date category on there to make it easier for you instead of like having to type it out. For the programs, you can make a tag box, so, or like interested in program, whatever. And then what you can do is when you click here, right now it says no tags added, but let's say they were interested in the 21-day fix. Now I can create that 21-day fix tag, and every time now that you go and create new boxes, as soon as you start typing in 21-day fix, the tag is going to come up and you can just hit enter. And eventually, and you can do right away, which is what I did, I just went through and added all the tags to create new ones, and then that way every time somebody's interested in 22-minute hardcore or Body Beast or any of the programs that we offer, I can immediately just put it in there without, again, having to type out the whole thing. Like, you want things to be time efficient. You don't want to be sitting here forever having to write it all out. So that makes it really handy. Things like a yes or no. So like, have you invited to, or are they on Shakeology? You want that to be like a drop down. So like yes or no. Things like, excuse me. So then again, you can drop this down and it'll give you, it won't allow me to, but you can add different drop downs. So yes, no, whatever. Have you invited them to coaching? So you can add that as a checkbox. So check it if you've invited that particular challenger to coaching. Free form. So things like, obviously your notes on over here would be a free form. It's just a place for you to write. For your Facebook URL, if you want to keep track of their Facebook URL, you'd be able to just type in whatever their Facebook URL is, .com/ like whatever. And then again, like, it creates that link so you can just click on it. This obviously I hope is not an actual link, but you can just click and go straight to their profile, see what they're up to, check in with them, comment like on their stuff, be more interactive, because you now have a list, a constant list of people that are on your radar, people that you're being able to like just scan over. This also makes your power hour really, really easy. So are the columns making sense based on those instructions, like going through them? Do you guys have any questions about that in particular?
Okay. I posted a comment, but I was just wondering with like, so you have followed up and followed up number 2, like within the box of each person. And then I saw on one of your pipelines, you had like a followed up or like a follow-up tab. So I was just wondering like what the difference is and how you use those. Like every time you reach out to someone, do you just automatically push them over to the follow-up like tab in your pipeline? And then you just know like what days you followed up, or how do you use that, or what's kind of the difference there?
So I give people 3 chances, basically. And that's not like, I'm not like following up with them like every 2 days, but right. I'll talk to somebody, invite them, and I'll write that date down. And then if we're in conversation and they're kind of like iffy, I'll follow up with them again 2 more times, and then I push them into the follow-up. So I know that like next month, now they're on my follow-up list.
So the follow-up like tab is kind of like a 30, 60, 90-day follow-up type thing, not like an immediate conversation follow-up.
Right.
Okay, perfect. That makes sense.
It's like a later date type thing.
Got it.
Yeah. So I just keep track of like, because obviously if you're in conversations with people and they like ghost on you, but they were like interested in an upcoming challenge group, you want to follow up with them immediately. Sure. So that would be the follow-up date that I keep track of.
Awesome.
And then, okay. So I didn't talk about this because I forgot that I have this on here. So like a source, you can, when I click on here, I have already like profile page and like page. So I can put on there where they came from, because you want to ultimately have an idea of like where are your people coming from. So if people are finding you more on Instagram, people are finding you more on your like page, you want to see where your market is coming from. And then you also can kind of gauge what they know about you based on where they're coming from. Because if there's somebody from your profile page and you're sharing things differently on either social media, it might make your conversation a little bit different. I also recently added a reached out like date column, but that's more for like people that I want to eventually invite, but maybe aren't ready for that like cold invite. So I will put like a reached out date, like the day that I started actually like having conversations with them, so that I can keep track of that too. Because again, like your time is valuable and you don't want to be spending like these lengthy conversation times when they might not ever get anywhere. Eventually you want to get to an invite. So I always like, I'm really bad for remembering how long I've been talking to somebody, and then they end up signing with somebody else in the past because I was just like totally off in like la la land, focusing on other people and not focusing on my conversation and pushing it through, which is why I like this, because it keeps me like focused. I'm gonna move this because I can't see anything. Yeah, so like same with like all of these. So these are all of my tabs. My last chance would be where I would put somebody who it's like 4 days, 3 days before they have to order. And that's where I shove them, so that I know like when I'm doing my power hour, these are the people that I want to be really talking to and getting them either in my follow-up list or into a challenge group, because they're running out of time. Another thing that I want to show you guys, because I really like this for my power hour. Also, you guys can get these as an app. Like the streak, you can get as an app on your phone, or I don't know if it's on Android, but I know that it's on Apple. So I have it on both my iPhone and my iPad. So you can update your streak on your phone or your tablet, which I really like, because sometimes I literally have like my phone, my computer, and my iPad going, but I have like different lists on everywhere, or different screens up, so I can have like conversations and invite on one screen, and I have my list of like who I should be talking to. So this is my power hour in the form of a pipeline. So I have like all put in here like the people that I added to Facebook that day, people that I'm building value with. So I'll pick like 3 to 5 people and write their names down that I like liked and commented on their stuff. I have 3 groups that I make sure that I interact in every day. 5 non-Beachbody related messages, so I write their names down. 5 follow-ups, 5 invites, mentor, 1 coach. And then I just recently added the 4 posts on like pages as a like page. I don't really do that yet because I just haven't gotten there. But those are the things that I run through. But this makes it so that I'm keeping track of it, and then I can immediately move their box to somewhere else. into like my challenger prospects or into a follow-up. But having this makes it really easy to just push people into a different pipeline to keep track of them and then clear it out each day. It also really helps me stay focused because I'm like, okay, well, I'm done that, and then I'm done this, and I'm not like on Facebook. Whereas like when I was doing my power hour on Facebook, I'm like kind of one of those people that's like, ooh, shiny, and I go off to like things I'm not supposed to be looking at. So this, I'm like, okay, add 5 people. Okay, build value. Okay, interact in groups, and I stay on task. So if you're like, into shiny things like I am, this might help you. When you're doing your power hour, this also comes in really handy because now you don't really have to think about it. You can literally go, the last video that I did, I had way more people in my free groups because I had just finished up a free group. And I will be finishing up another free group, which means that I can add 150 names because right now I have a group going. Do you have a question? No? Okay. So right now I have a free group going on that has 150 people in it. So I'll be able to add 150 names to this free group stage, which means that when I'm going through my power hour, I shouldn't be saying, well, I don't have 3 people to invite. Well, I don't have, people to reach out to, because I do. They're right here on my screen. They're friends of mine. They're from a free group. They're past customers. If you guys have people that have ordered nothing, like you have people that just signed up with the free membership, people that signed up with Beachbody On Demand just to try it, your leads, any of those people, you want to be keeping in regular contact with them. They are always potential challengers. No matter what, they are always potential challengers. So if you're keeping in regular contact with them, they count as your follow-ups, as your invites. And when you have them in a pipeline per se, you can easily just go and pick a name instead of being like, oh, who to talk to today on your Facebook. You have an entire list of people. Like I probably wouldn't have to go to my Facebook for an entire week just based on the numbers in here. Like I have 34 people that I need to push through all of here to get them into something. I have 62 people on a follow-up list. I have tons of people on a not right now. I have 72 that I can reach out to based on already liking and commenting and all that kind of stuff. So you don't have to be thinking about anything, because if you're keeping good track of your people and your conversations and your interactions, it's all laid out in front of you and makes your power hour go by really, really quickly. My coach prospects, I'll show you guys this just so you have an idea of how I set this one up.
I have a quick question.
No. Yeah, go ahead. Hey, you're on a different thing.
I know, I just jumped on my phone.
Okay.
So are you doing your communication through your email and Facebook, or one more than the other, or solely one? What do you do?
So I communicate, I'm trying, so all of my current challengers or past challengers, I'm trying to communicate solely on, whatever this is, email. And then I'm starting to convert to when I'm talking to people through Facebook, having them just email me. Mostly that's because as I've continued and watched a ton more videos and I'm really paranoid, a ton of like bigger coaches have said, you never want to be in a situation where Facebook takes everything from you and then you lose all of your contacts. So if you're talking to people, you want to have their email address. Nobody's going to take your email address from you because you own that. So Facebook can be taken out from under you at any moment. I mean, I've been put in Facebook jail, I don't know how many times. So I would never want to be in a situation where I lost any of the conversations that I'm having. So I'm trying now to get in the habit of getting people to move their conversations as we start talking over to email. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question? Okay.
Yes, that does.
Okay.
Has anyone give you kickback or anything?
No, not really. I actually find that people in email talk way better than they do on Facebook. So like they tell me more things, they write like longer stories of like their life. I get to find out like more about them rather than it being like, hey, like how are things? And people are like, I get like a full blown like my life just fell apart and all of these things are happening, or like whatever. People just, I don't know, for some reason people feel more like secure on email, so they're more willing to like talk to you about things that they just have never talked to me about on Facebook. So that kind of has been like a nice change because you can find out more without pulling teeth, which I hate doing. So
Makes sense.
yeah. So this is my coach prospects. It looks pretty similar to my challenger prospects, except for I have like a rockstar challenger. So you're going to find a lot of your coaches in your challenge groups because people that are already using the products are going to make incredible coaches. So anybody that you have that's a rockstar challenger, add there. Loyal Shakeology users, people that are literally like throwing away $25 to $30 a month, like they could use a discount. So you can offer them that. People that you've invited, this is like really lackluster because I've been doing all my invites on my challenger prospects and like in giant letters lately because I've been super lazy. I'm like coach in like the notes section. So no, I haven't only invited 4 coaches in the last like however many weeks, but you get kind of like the gist of it's the same thing. Like if I invite people to an event, which this will again get bigger because I have people in a free group and I have an event coming up. So that will be like, that will grow. And then I can then move them through to the pipeline. So I have 43 people that are not right now. Again, those are follow-ups. Those are invites. Those are people that I can reach back out to during a power hour. So, I mean, with the numbers that I have just on the last 2 pipelines, you're not going to be scrambling for people to talk to or conversations to have because you have people to constantly be making connections with. And you always want to have a dream list. You always want to have those people that you're like, you know what, you would make a kick-ass coach, challenger, whatever. And that way you can make sure that you're keeping up to date with what they're doing. Because if you think that they'd make a really good coach, you want to be posting on their wall. You want to be commenting on their stuff. You want to be liking their stuff so that your name is constantly popping up, so that your posts are constantly popping up to them. So eventually you're going to catch their attention. And that's what they're going to be drawn to, is what, you know, the interaction that you've had, rather than them feeling like, oh, you just want to sell me something. They're going to be like, oh, you've taken an interest in my life. And they'll gravitate towards you. So I hope I can like open it up for questions. Do you guys have any questions before I stop sharing my screen so I can show you anything specific? No?
I don't think so.
Okay. Is that making sense to you guys?
Yeah, one question I have, so I have mine like set up right now. I think, I don't remember if it was you or Britta had sent me a link of kind of like getting the bones of it set up. And so I have like a challenger prospect, coach prospect, like my free leads, and then kind of like current challenge group or whatever.
Okay.
And I was just wondering, so like, obviously you have like this one person, like to me it feels like a Rolodex almost, where it's like you just are shuffling their card like through into different like little folders almost.
Yeah.
So like if I have someone that say is like a current challenger that is like already signed up, but like I have my eye on as like a future coach, then would she get put into like, I mean, I would assume she'd get put into challenger coach prospects, but I'm just wondering like, how do you, I guess my struggle then is like, then she kind of drops off, or I feel like she drops off my like visual view of like who my current challengers are, to be like, I don't know, because I like to kind of be checking in with people like, you know, every week or every other week just to see how things are going. So I'm just wondering, have you found a way to like, even though they're kind of someone you're looking at as a coach, or you're maybe kind of talking to them, or maybe they said not right now, so that they don't just like fall off into kind of no man's land of of that like prospect group. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what I have started doing for that exact reason, like I've had that issue where I'm like, I need you here, but I want you here too.
Right.
So I make a note in wherever they started. So if they're a challenger and I'm like, you would make a really good coach, but I want to keep you in your challenge group pipeline.
Yep.
I make a note in that file that I think that they'd make a good coach. And then you can create a duplicate box.
Okay.
With their name in it. So you can go to your coach prospects and be like, okay, Rockstar Challenger, and add them there as a duplicate box. And it'll come up like if I make one now for myself, because I already made one.
Yeah, it like notifies you saying, hey, that already exists.
Okay. So it's like potential duplicate box, and it'll tell me where it is. But this, I don't care. I just want their name to be there so that I can be like, okay, I need to talk to them again about whatever.
Okay, perfect. That makes sense. Because it's like I don't want to like forget about someone in one capacity or the other. Like if I have them in the challenger portion, I don't want to forget about like continuing to check on them with coaching, but then I also like don't want to, you know what I mean? So that makes sense with doing the duplicates and stuff like that. So
yeah, I worried about that too in the beginning because I was like, oh no, it's going to yell at me. And I didn't think it was going to let me do a duplicate box, but I sometimes end up with like quadruple boxes because I like forget that somebody's in somewhere else, and I'm like, I'll just leave it for now.
Okay. And that's worked out with like, do you just re-enter all their info and stuff?
Yeah, if I'm putting them from like a challenge group to like a Rockstar like a Rockstar Challenger per se, I don't really fill in any info just because I know they're somewhere else.
Gotcha.
But sometimes I'll add in like the key information. So when I am going through my power hour, I can be like, oh, they're doing this program or whatever.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I will stop sharing this. Does anyone else have any questions at all? No?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, I will share the recording